You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about knowing your potential. You know, we all have the potential to excel in whether it be, education, or maybe you have amazing cooking skills, or you're a techie person. Whatever it is, you want to really harness that skill set and be able to make something great with it, whether it be a career, a hobby, or maybe give that gift away, right? Help other people. So it's all about today knowing your potential. Also going to be joining our next segment with Marna Michelle. Now she's amazing, right? She has this condition where her muscles are weak, her joints are stiff, but yet, although she's in a wheelchair and many have told her, well, hey, this is going to be your life. She said, no way, Jose, I am going to go out there, live my dream. I know my potential. I am going to sing. And she did just that. In fact, she made it all the way to American Idol and many other shows, as well as a residency in Las Vegas. So stay with us. We'll be talking to her. And if you want to hear today's show again, we want to make sure that you are supported. You can go to livingfullout.com, check out all of our episodes. Also, if you have Alexa, or if you got your app store in your phone, just look for Living Full Out Radio and you can listen to us 24/7. We're here for you. And what I want to focus on now is really making sure that you identify during this show, what is something that you're good at? What is something that, you're proud of? You also might think about the flip side. What is something where, gosh, I know with a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, I could get better at that. And that kind of is the way that life goes, right? The positives and the times that we're weak, they kind of go side by side. And so the whole meaning of life is that you want to boost where you need to be stronger, but let those qualities that are, signature to you, let them shine, whether it's, starting a new relationship or interviewing for a job, whatever that may be. So the thing is, to know your potential means that you have to listen to what others say. Number one, a lot of people will give you praise for what you're good at, and that will give you insight to go, wow, I didn't know that I was so good at that, but I guess I am, and that will kind of guide you to that trait that you excel at. Also, you want to consider when you do an interview, when you do go on a date, when you do certain things where you may not see that person again, you kind of want to check in with them, check their body language, check out what they say to you, and see if they can give you insights to where you have those special qualities. I know for me, knowing my potential, I got that gift of gab, right? So it would be, I guess, ironic that this is what I do for a living, right? Being a speaker and a coach and with you here on the radio show. But also, there are places in my life where when somebody says something to me and it's an opportunity for me to hone in on what I can get better at, the minute I know that, whether it's, being more focused on certain days, whether it's learning a new tech skill, I run that direction. I will embrace it. I'll look for webinars, teleclasses, whatever I can do to really, up the ante when it comes to those things I can get better at. And I know you can too. I believe in you very much. Now, I am getting word from our producers that we do have a listener on the line. I want to go check in with them and see how we can help. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, how can I help you?
So I had a question. How can I stay positive at work when we're facing reduced hours and pay furloughs and everyone's just really unhappy?
That is actually a really tough situation. I'm sure a lot of our audience is actually with you on that. And what I'm curious about, we always have to look at our individual selves, right? Are you worried that you might lose your job as well?
It's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm. And so knowing that that is a possibility, does that make you want to perform extra better at work? Or has that kind of made you a little bit deflated? Like, what's the point?
I try not to let it affect me in my work, but I can see it affecting my coworkers, and it's kind of just making it not a happy work environment like it normally is.
And so I actually appreciate that you said it's not so much your state of mind. You know, you're apparently that positive light in the work environment. But what you might look at is how, you know, without it affecting your work or taking too much energy from you, you clearly have a gift. You clearly are a glass half full person, even though the glass is getting emptied little by little, right? You're choosing to be on the positive side. You might look at how you can take that inspiration and encourage your other coworkers to either hang in there or for you and for them to consider what's next. Because I think the scary thing is we wonder, what if this opportunity ends? Is that scarcity thing, right? Will there be another job? You know, will I like something better? Do you see what I'm saying? So if
Mhm.
you're not coming from that place of negativity, if you're, you know, staying strong and true and focused, but you find that others are not, you might want to go remind them, hey, listen, you do this job well. And remember that for however long it lasts, you're making an impact. You're making a customer's life better. You're moving the company forward because there's really no guarantees in life, right? I mean, you can have the
Yeah.
most perfect relationship and poof, all of a sudden that person can be gone. You can have a job you really, really love, but if a company, due to budgeting or whatever, has to shut down, they have to shut down. So I think a lot of times people take it personally. So maybe, just maybe, I will pass along to you to be the coach in the office. Just like I coach other people, you can coach them. And it's just kind of helping them to see how what they do in that environment makes your life easier, how you enhance your work experience. Just shower them with as much positivity as possible. And then at the same time, kind of hold the space for them. Say, you know what, if something should happen, if the worst case scenario should happen and they shut our office down, you're going to find something else. And again, kind of coaching them through that. Have you been trying that already?
What was that? Sorry?
Have you been trying that already, coaching them?
No, I haven't, and I think that will definitely be something I try.
You know, and secretly behind the scenes for you, when you coach other people, and I know parents feel this way, teachers, coaches like myself, there's actually learning in you, even professionally as you grow, by being able to be that light, to be that source of inspiration for others. So I would say go and shower your colleagues with some love, okay? But thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. And, you know, I love that she asked that question, right? Because what she's identified is within the office space, her personality is she's the positive one. But you can be that one positive one, but if you have a lot of negative people around you, they might wear you down. They might, you know, start to affect your positivity over time. So when we're talking today about knowing your potential, you know, in relation to that last caller, as well as everybody listening, you know, it's about figuring out what is your role within your family, within your relationship, within your office. You know, some things are going to come very naturally to you, like she was naturally positive. But then you also want to look at, where can I grow from this experience? If it's a relationship that's not going so well, or in her case with that last listener, if it's a work situation where there's a potential for the office to close, kind of looking at how you handle a situation. How do you handle conflict? You know, how do you handle stress? You know, those are great aspects of your life to look at. You know, are you somebody who handles stress in a positive way? You go and you work out, or you turn to a friend and you vent, or are you somebody that maybe handles it negatively? You know, pick at your nails, or you overeat, or you find yourself over drinking. So it's an opportunity when life gives us hardships to put the mirror up to our face and say, wow, what am I doing well, and where do I need to grow? And that is how you get better at knowing your potential. Because when you know that secret sauce, when you know what you're good at, when you know that you can handle conflict well, handle change well, well, now you're able to go into any circumstance and land on your feet. So stay with us. We're definitely going to be talking more about knowing your potential. And we're going to have our inspirational guest, Marna Michelle, coming up again. You know, although she's in a wheelchair today, she is cruising through life, living her life full out in a big way. And we want to make sure that throughout the show, you're here and we're supporting you too. So feel free to call in. We'll be taking more of your calls. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us. It's all about knowing your potential. We'll be back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I'm Nancy Solari, Certified Life and Business Coach. I want to invite you to the Personal Development Boot Camp. During the boot camp, we're going to be looking at taking those insecurities that you have and getting rid of them. We're also going to look at ways in which you can thrive and live a life full of purpose. Go to livingfullout.com/bootcamp, livingfullout.com/bootcamp to sign up. I believe in you, and here's to you living your life full out.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about knowing your potential. And as always, we try to bring you inspirational guests that demonstrate the themes of the day. And today, this guest, wow, Marna Michelle, has known her potential from early years, wanting to sing. But it's interesting why she wants to sing. And she'll be sharing that with us throughout the show. But also, like so many of us in life, she had her own set of hardships. She struggled with a condition that made her muscles weak and her joints stiff, and ultimately had to go from walking to being in a wheelchair. And, although all of that took place, her dreams were bigger and pulled her in the direction of knowing her potential. So I'd very much like to welcome Myrna to the show.
Hello.
Hi, so happy to have you. There's so much I want to get to, but I first of all want you to share with our audience, just so we have a real understanding of your health condition. What is it called, and how does it affect your body?
It is called arthrogryposis. It is a muscle and joint disorder. So basically, I was born with my muscles being too weak for my body and my joints are too stiff. But it varies in every person. It's very different, but also very similar. It's a wonderful disability. I honestly am blessed to have it.
I love that you say that, because I actually say that too about being legally blind. I didn't know that would be the case, but today I'm happy about it. So I'm with you, sister. I get that. Now, growing up with a disability as a kid can sometimes be tricky, right? Because you and I are further down the line where we're mature about it. We know the benefits of it, and we've learned how to manage it. But as a kid, it's rough and not as fun. And I know for you, you kind of felt like the odd woman out, right? In the sense of other kids got to, kind of be more playful, run around, and that became harder for you to do. But one moment really sticks out to you where you got stuck in a chair. What was going on there?
Well, honestly, I was a really active kid. I surrounded myself with people who really helped and made sure that I was comfortable. But I do remember going to the beach with my school, and everyone was able to run into the water, and I just, got to sit on the sand. But I still enjoyed it, and it was wonderful. But yeah, that was a moment for me where I'm like, oh, maybe I can't do everything.
Well, and it's good that your friends and your family were supportive. And there's kind of this safety bubble when we're in our school that we grew up with those friends for years. But then junior high came, and everything kind of mixed together, all these schools, and there were new personalities meeting you for the first time. And the bullies called you a name that really made you sad. What was that?
Cripple. They called me crippled.
And it's kind of actually not a term that I hear often either. But thankfully, you had an aide that had been with you kind of to help, get you through these physically changing times. What did that aide tell you about those words?
So I went crying to her that I got called a crippled for the first time. And she said, well, look it up in the dictionary and see if the word still offends you. So I looked it up in the dictionary, and the word means unable to walk. And it wasn't offensive. I'm unable to walk. It's a fact. So I actually took that word and I claimed it. And I started my own brand later in life called Crippled is Beautiful.
And crippled is beautiful. In fact, there's that old saying, right? The beauty is in the flaws. The beauty is in the cripple, I think, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Now, you were kind of embracing, and I think anybody with a disability is kind of like this, right? As our bodies change, or as we have to learn new technology or new aids, we always kind of get used to it. And hey, if it doesn't get any worse, I can live my life like this, right? So you were existing. You had your braces on your leg. You weren't running, but you were walking. But then your parents really wanted you to get a power wheelchair. And with resistance, you didn't want that. But then you actually decided it was better. Why was it better?
Well, I did not have a powered wheelchair from elementary school I've always walked in leg braces like Forrest Gump, I always said. But it was very difficult, and elementary schools are so small. But junior high, it gets just a little bit bigger. So I realized if I'm tired here all the time, how am I going to make it through junior high without help? So that's when I decided, okay, maybe a powered chair will be more of like an assistance tool rather than that's going to be my, one way to get around.
And did it turn out to be better? I mean, really in the long run?
It did. I honestly decided that I would stop walking. I kept walking, maybe not for myself so much, but more for my family. But it was just too painful, and it was getting to the point that I didn't enjoy being upright. I really enjoyed sitting down in my wheelchair because I was actually more capable and more mobile of doing things with my friends and enjoying my day-to-day.
Well, and it sounds like those who knew you called you the pioneer, because you were all about making change in that junior high and high school, right? You were bound to make it more accessible for people with wheelchairs. Because because just like when you were a little kid and everybody was at the beach running around, you also had times when you were in high school, not being able to sit in the stands and, different moments where you might have also felt left out, right?
Oh, definitely. I definitely started to experience, I don't know if you'd call it like isolation, but I wasn't able to be with my peers. Junior high and high school really highlighted that. And I realized it's not very accessible. They don't really think of the disabled student as much as they think of the able-bodied student. So I fought to get a ramp put into the bleachers so I could watch football games with my friends. And, I had to get petitions signed, and I did it. So I'm very proud of myself. High school learning was pretty cool.
And even though it was many, many years ago, that I can tell that being proud of yourself is still kind of with you today. It was a good moment. And
I drive by my school, and I still see that ramp up, and I know I did that.
See, and I love that. See, we're talking today about knowing your potential, and that was potential that you gave back to your school. I think that is such a gift. And I also know for you, it was, hard on your heart too, because, you wanted a boyfriend like all your other friends, but why was dating so tricky? I mean, you dated people, but not the boyfriend.
I think it was tricky because you want to have that affection and you want to have that, that great love. And especially when you're young, you think that, that's all that really matters is romance. And I had dated, but I don't think I ever had romance until I was in my 20s. And then I realized, okay, this is a good time to have romance. You're more, you experience it and you appreciate it more. And you realize, being disabled, maybe a 16-year-old boy isn't going to accept that as good as a 20-year-old boy when you grow up. So it's just something you have to accept, but don't give up on yourself. You deserve love no matter your, disposition.
I love that. Yeah, not many Prince Charmings are 16, to be honest. I've never seen that in the movies. Anyway, so stay with us, Marta, because there's so much more to your story that I want to get to. And everybody today, it is about knowing your potential. You're not going to know it right away. You're not going to know it as a kid or as a teenager, but that's what life is about, feeling it through, trying new things, growing, developing, and living full out. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about knowing your potential. And we're here with Marna Michelle, and she is sharing with us about having her health condition where her muscles are weak and her joints get stiff. And yes, she does have her power wheelchair that gets her from A to B and Z. But at the same time, you know, her story is very special because she has known potential within her heart. And that is music, which we're going to be getting to in just a second. But, you know, Marna, welcome back to the show, first of all. Happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, and, you know, the thing that I find is so great, and again, I said soul sister earlier because I mean it. You are one resourceful woman. And even when it comes to driving, which I want to share this story because we always try to pass along resources to our audience that may be helpful. You have a great alliance with a company that has, number one, helped you have the wheelchair that's good for you over the years, but also they've helped you with driving and kind of connecting the two together. Can you share with us about that?
Yeah, so I was really lucky to find a wheelchair company called The Mobility Center. when I was 16. So I've continued to buy my wheelchairs through them, and it's just fantastic. And they ended up going from wheelchairs and decided, well, we should do cars as well. So they started modifying vans and vehicles, and I bought my latest car through them. And it has a fold-out ramp, and I drive right in, and I lock myself into the driver's area. There's no seat there, so my wheelchair locks right into that, and I get to drive.
I love it. And then you're braking and you're doing all the other aspects of driving with like hand controls? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so there's hand controls on the left side, and it's for gas and for brake.
I love that. I love that because, you know, I don't drive anymore. I haven't for years. And I used to use, before Uber and Lyft and all that came out, I even used a service called Access, which I know you used as well. And I saw so many people in wheelchairs have to struggle with like locking it down with these braces. I love that you get to roll on in there and it just clicks in place. That is
I do
exciting.
too. It's such a great invention.
That is so exciting. I love it. I had to make sure we got that out there. So anyone in our audience who wants to know more about that, obviously reach out to Marna. Now, one of the things that we really focus on here at Living Full Out is going after our dreams. And you did that. You know, you've done that. You're still doing that. But as a little girl, 16, you know, you were watching the shows like American Idol, and year after year, you know, putting in a tape or auditioning and you know, trying to live that dream. And eventually you did get your first break. I mean, you had performed and all that, you know, up until this break, but you got a residency in Vegas. How did that come about?
My aunt was a showgirl in Vegas, and she actually requested me to come out during a performance when she was performing on stage. So she was the presenter, and I got to perform in front of a bunch of people who worked in Vegas for shows, and they ended up having me sing at 3 more hotels, and then they asked me to continue to come back and sing at the Suncoast Hotel in Vegas.
That is a cloud 9 moment, maybe cloud 10, right? Because you're like, wow, this is really going to happen. This is really happening. But
yes, it was amazing.
Sadly, it ended, right?
It did. It ended faster than it started.
Oh, no, that's so sad. But the reason why I think that's an important story, though, is because, you know, our dreams don't always come in a snap. It's not always on that first shot. And you didn't give up. You kept pressing forward. In fact, American Idol did a reboot show, and you applied again, and what happened?
I made it onto TV.
Woohoo! And you were in the reboot, you were season 2, right? Hollywood Week was the week that you finally got eliminated, but you made it all the way there. And I'm just wondering, though, because again, it must have been almost like being at a crossroad, like I felt this before, because I'm sure there's a certain sadness when you lost the residency in Vegas. But then to be at Hollywood Week and then to be eliminated, how did you handle that disappointment?
I will say that I've experienced a lot of loss in my life, whether it be with my music career or just in my life in general. And for some odd reason, being eliminated from American Idol after making it to Hollywood Week, which I think was just such a big dream of mine, I was really sad. It was probably the saddest I'd been in a long time, that I even didn't sing for probably like 2 months. You know, I'd sing here and there, but not with my full potential. And I wouldn't even listen to music in the car. I'd listen to podcasts because it just made me so sad that I, in my opinion, dropped the ball and I didn't show America my full potential. But looking back, I think that that's silly. I did show America my full potential of who I am as a person. I was very positive. I was very honest and authentic to who I am in real life. The person you see on TV is like genuinely the person I am in real life. So I will always be proud of that. And I just didn't have my best singing moment, and it happened to be on TV, but that's totally fine. I can literally say for the rest of my life, I was on American Idol, and I auditioned a lot. So that's great.
Yeah, and you're still auditioning. Didn't you just put out another tape, just in case? Just in case you can get back.
I did. I submitted another audition tape for American Idol this season.
Well, I love it. I tried out for X Factor years ago, and I made it pretty darn far, but it was it is a lot of work, those auditions. It's very stressful and exhausting. Now, you know, one dream has been music, but, you know, that high schooler who wanted a boyfriend was also looking for the dream of romance. And what I love about this next story is when somebody has a disability, and I've been there as well, sometimes there's this decision of, okay, if I go on a dating app or an online site, do I tell them I'm in a wheelchair? Do I tell them I can't see? It's almost like, again, do I show that card? But you just put it on out there. You went on a dating app, and today you're engaged. So fill us in. How did that happen?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, but I did. I put myself out there on Tinder. It actually was my sister's doing. She made me do it, and she started swiping right on a bunch of guys, and one of them matched me. Actually, a bunch matched me, but this one person I really was attracted to, and he seemed really nice, and so he said hi instantly. His name's Robert, and he asked me out on a date. And in my bio, it clearly says I'm in a wheelchair, and there's pictures of me. I make it very, very obvious. And I was very excited for my first date with him, but for some reason in my brain, I thought he did not know I was disabled because he didn't do what all the other men had done, ask me immediately, so why can't you walk? And so I texted him the day of our date and said, do you know I'm in a wheelchair? And he goes, of course I do. It's all over your bio. It doesn't matter. That's just how you get around. And when I was like, oh, I could probably marry this guy. And I am.
Wow. So the good news is, ladies in the audience, men, everybody, there is a Prince Charming and a Mrs. Right. They do exist. They do walk among us. And disabilities don't matter because their heart is just that big. He saw you for you, not your wheelchair, which I think is great. And I'm just wondering, you've gone through, like we said, so many disappointments, whether it be, feeling bullied by others, being called a cripple before you knew what it meant, and, having moments where, your dream of singing was just like right there, but then residency ends, American Idol, you're eliminated. And I always ask this question in terms of, what do you think is like your why? Like, why are you in this position? Why do you think you were given the gift of your health condition, the ability to see life through, living in a wheelchair, through the ups and the downs? What is the why?
It took me a lot of years to figure that out. I always knew I loved singing and I'm good at it, and I always put smiles on people's faces. So that's where it started, and I was like, okay, I could do this forever. But now being 28 years old and seeing what's going on in the world and the lack of ADA equality out there for disabilities, I want to be an advocate for the disabled community. I really, really do. I never thought I'd say that. Not that I don't like advocacy, but I didn't think I was cut out for it. And it turns out I was given a voice not just to sing, but a voice to demand equality and accessibility for disabled people.
I love that. And again, we're talking today about knowing your potential, and you we don't know how it's going to unfold. We know you have your Prince Charming by your side. We know you have the gift of singing. We know that you have the integrity to do goodwill when you get that platform. And so I'm just curious, so what does living full out mean to you as you kind of journey further along here?
I would say that don't put yourself in a box just because you think you're disabled and this is the box you belong in. Just to get out of that box and try something new, try something you'd never thought you'd do. Like this last couple of years, I tried modeling, and I've actually succeeded in modeling, which that's nothing I thought I'd do either. So don't ever put yourself in a box and just like live full out. I love that. I'm going to start using that. Live full out. That's amazing. Modeling
in her power wheelchair. I'm telling you, are you trying to get back on the show? Interview number 2, because with you, there's just more and more and more, which I love. So I want to thank you so much for just everything that you do in the world. We will cheer you on. You have many, many fans here at Living Full Out. Keep us posted on your singing, or I guess we'll just see you in the bright lights. And, as someone who is disabled, I really appreciate that you're doing all you can to move the ADA cause ahead. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Have a great day. Thanks.
You too. Bye.
Bye. And again, everybody, I just love being on the side of the mic, talking to guests like her. I mean, what a powerhouse, right? In her power wheelchair. Unstoppable. And she knows her potential. And so do you. And I think that it's important that we all share our stories, and maybe you have one as well. Maybe you've been through something, and a tragedy, a crisis, a disability, a health condition. And if you want to share that story with our community and help inspire us, we'd be so happy to have you. Make sure to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Give us your contact info. Let us know what you went through. And we'd very much like to consider having you here as a guest on the show. So we're coming back, taking more of your calls. Again, today it's all about knowing your potential. And if you don't know it, that's even more exciting. It's the discovery of it. And we talked about that in the beginning of the show, and we'll continue on about identifying what are you naturally good at? You know, where are areas of your life where it's just easy? That is potential. And it's just about harnessing that. So stay with us. We're coming right back. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment.
Hey, guys, check out my new video game.
Mom, what?
Huh?
What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a
stadium.
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to knowing your potential, it's all about figuring out what is that secret sauce, what makes you special and unique, and then putting it out there. And it's also asking family and friends, when you consider what I'm great at, what is that? Let others help you guide yourself to knowing your potential so you can live a life full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about knowing your potential. And I just love the idea of potential, right? But I want you all to understand that that doesn't have to be just career, right? Potential can be being a really good friend, having friendships that go the distance. I've always admired shows like The Golden Girls, the classic, or Sex and the City, more present day show. And, these were friends that grew up together, even the show Friends, right? So potential can be having a really great family, having a really great friend group. It also can just be being a good neighbor, being someone who volunteers. The lead in your life is how can I make a difference? And then, of course, there is the potential of your career, being able to get yourself promoted and grow and learn new skills and maybe even start your own business. So just know that there's so many different options and ways for you to grow personally and professionally. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a listener on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi. I just wanted to know what are some ways that I can deal with stress.
I'm curious, what is stressing you out the most right now?
Just talking to family members. Sometimes communication it's kind of hard, even though I live with them and talk to them every day.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that is it a loud environment where everyone's talking over each other, or maybe others are more boisterous in their conversations than you?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes one of my family members doesn't really listen to what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really hear what I have to say.
Yeah, what I have found, and first of all, I appreciate that you're asking this question very much, because right now so many people are home together, right? Or somebody could also feel unheard, whether it be at work or in an intimate relationship. So it's a great question. What I've always found is it's really important to understand that person's ability to hear, okay? Because it's two different skills. One is talking, but one is listening. And so this person may be extroverted and talk, shout, 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 shout. And that's the way that they express themselves. But I would be very curious on how do they digest information best. And if you know this person well enough, like maybe you've seen them in a school environment or in a work environment, are they someone that maybe retains information better in the written form, meaning that maybe you should write them a letter or a note, or maybe send them an email? Because the curiosity is, what are you saying? And if it doesn't come across right away, like nag, 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 noise, 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 if you can catch them with curiosity, they're going to keep reading. And in life, nobody doesn't want to be in the know, right? That person is going to read because they want to know what you have to say. It just might come across better if you write it down, because that way you can really get your thoughts out there. And I also think that it's important to have balance, there may be parts of you that want to tell this person off or put them in their place or shine a light on how they might want to change, right? But if you do that, again, that person will shut down. So there's got to be this balance in this letter between kind of bringing to light areas in which they can develop, and you're there to tell them that. But at the same time, you might tell them ways in which they positively impact your life. Do they make you laugh? Are they someone you go to for a certain need in your life? Because then you're going to retain their listening. You want to have that balance. So it's 2 forms of info I want to give you today. Number 1, figure out what is their best communication style for how to receive, how to hear what you're trying to say. Might be talking, might be in person, might be phone, but it might be a note, it might be an email, handwritten letter. But then secondly, when you do put that out there, have balance between constructive feedback you're trying to give them, but also some positivities of who they are. That way they won't shut down on you. Can you try that?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Okay. You know what? Just right there when I heard you say, yeah, I'll give it a try, I heard you perk up. You got this. You can do it. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I want to say, first of all, thank you for all calling in today. Our guests, it's all about knowing our potential, getting out there, living our life as big, as large as we possibly can. Our entire Living Full Out family, appreciates you listening. We got Rich and Eilish and Leah and Caleb and so many people that just want to make sure that you are out there doing it, just with a roar in your heart, right? Just going after life, tapping into that potential that you have, and having fun. Always remember to have fun. I really enjoyed being here with you today. Check us out on social media. Go to livingfullout.com to hear today's show again, or check us out in the App Store. Just look for Living Full Out Radio. Always know I believe in you. Here's to you living full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.